Hello everyone, I am Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at a new mini force set from SirToys.com. This set is the Dino Super TyraKing set. And yes, that's what it's called. Now, the set comes with 5 different characters, or 5 different toys, and they all merge into something. We'll get into that a little bit later. Volt, Sammy, Max, Lucy, and Leo. Each one of these figures has a little bit of posability in this robot mode, and then the individual robots transform into something. Yes, I realize I'm being vague, but you'll find out in just a minute. In terms of size, the front 2 figures are roughly between a Deluxe class and a Voyager class. Then the back 3 figures are roughly a Leader class Grimlock size, with the Max figure being the largest of the set. Now, Sammy's head, up to Sammy's head, isn't as tall as Max, but the wings on the back definitely are the tallest part of, or the tallest section of all the robot modes. Starting off with the yellow Max, and yes, I said that the middle robot was Max, that's actually Leo. This figure is molded pretty well, and it is the shortest of all of them, and the least impressive. Max has very little in terms of posability. Its shoulders ratchet, its elbows ratchet, head does not move, hips can swing side to side, it can kick forward a little bit, but there's no other articulation. So posing it is, we're talking Super Sentai posability here. It doesn't even have leg split. But the feet are treaded, so I'm assuming that it's supposed to be, well, just go on the ground like a little tank. And boy, is it squat and tiny and thick. It is a thick boy. Next up, we're going to take a look at Lucy, and she is pink, yellow, white, and black, and yeah. You know, this really feels like a grunt unit from Gundam Victory. The overall aesthetic of the figure is just fine. It's the most action figure-y of all of them. As I said, it feels like a grunt figure from Gundam Victory. Posability is alright. Head does not move at all. Shoulders have a swivel and then a hinge for the upper arm, and then the arms can straighten out. Hands actually open and close, but they don't do much anything else. Unfortunately, this set didn't come with any weapons. I would have liked it if it did. Oh well. No forward and back, but the thing has knees, which, why? And then it's got articulation at the toe, and then it can kick out all the way. Okay. In terms of height, it's definitely bigger than Max's, and is definitely bigger than a Deluxe class figure, and it currently scales with a Voyager class figure from Transformers, even though it is almost a full head taller. Next up is Sky. This is the thinnest figure in the set, and there's a definite reason why, because it forms the back end of something. The head sculpt is pretty good, but it's very hard to see, especially even looking straight on. You have to lean the figure back, and oh look, there are eyes under there. In terms of posability, the figure's arms ratchet forward and back, elbows ratchet in and out. You can do, I'm going to get you next time, Gadget. Hands open and close. Again, no weapons in this set. Legs can kick forward and back. Knees have just a tiny bit of articulation. And then feet kind of collapse for the transformation, and it swivels for the transformation. It doesn't really do much other than that. Size-wise, it's roughly the same height as Grimlock, except for the wings on the back. And that's Studio Series Grimlock, by the way. Next up is Volt, and I think next to Leo, this is the most cohesive. The blue, the black, the gold, the white all work really well. Head sculpt is okay. The figure itself feels pretty darn good and is very nice and ratchety, except in the shoulders, which just kind of swivel there, but in and out have nice, good ratchets, swivels. Even the swivel at the elbow, which doesn't actually exist, is a nice ratchet. No torso articulation. Legs kick forward, legs kick out, bend at double bending knees. Even the toes ratchet. So I guess you could pull off some poses, except the lack of elbows sucks, but oh well. Size-wise, here's a Voyager class, and here's Grimlock again. There we go. It's about the same size as Grimlock, just very, very, so much thinner. I don't know why, but this really does remind me of another giant robot series that was developed by the same company that did Fafnir, but I cannot remember the name of it. It looks like a blue version of the main mecha from it, but oh well. And finally, we got the biggest boy, Leo, who is far and away my favorite. I love the blue and the gold and the yellow, white. It all works incredibly well together. Head sculpt is great. It acts like it has light piping, or it looks like it has light piping. Yeah, there's light piping in there, but actually no. No, there isn't. It's piped, but then the eyes are painted. So unfortunately, that doesn't help things. Head, again, oh, this head actually moves. Head moves side to side. Shoulders have up and down movement, but no swivel. Elbows kind of move. I guess that's the shoulder. Fists kind of wiggle back and forth. Hands don't open. Legs ratchet for days. And that is the weirdest place for a knee. And then the toes have ratchets in them. Weird, but considering what it transforms into, it makes sense. It does. All right, enough beating around the bush. These figures transform into a T-Rex. Yes, I'm being 100% serious. All 5 of these transform into a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex. All right, we're going to start with Max for the transformation. Straighten out the arms. Turn them so that the fists are pointing towards the insides, and then then reach up to these green parts and kind of flip them up all the way as far as they will go. Rotate the arms up. Whoop. Like that. Turn them around 180 degrees so now that the fists are pointing outwards. And then flip these green sections down to cover up the little sections. Rotate. Grab the entire shoulder sections and pull them all the way forward. And rotate the arms around and they will peg into each other, like that. Then come down to the hips, turn them 180 degrees, rotate the legs up, and they will peg into place. And this component is done. Put it off to the side for right now. Going with Lucy next. Take the arms, flip up the fists, rotate the hands all the way up, grab the figure and pull it apart like that. On the one side, rotate the head in. On the other side, flip the collar in. And then you need to push on this little black piece that's up here and flip the connector bits in. And this is incredibly hard. Then take the arms, or what were the robot arms, and fold them down over where the head was. Grab the legs, flip them up, rotate them in, and they will gently rest in what was the robot's armpits. Like that. And we got ourselves some giant pink dino feet. Put this off to the side for now. Next up is Sky, and the first thing we're going to do is turn the entire torso around 180 degrees, push the legs together and snap them together, fold the feet and heels up, then come to the backpack and flip down this big yellow piece. Take the wings, push them together and snap them together. Take the arms and point them straight back. Turn the arms, lower arms, fold them down, and then come to the back, flip up the head, and grab the entire torso and push it down until it snaps into place. And that's it. We're done. We have made a tail. Leo is next, and his is the weirdest transformation of all of them. So, to start with, take the feet, rotate them 180, and fold them up to the shins, like that. Collapse the legs at the shins. Come to the back of each forearm and flip out these black components, and then flip up the fists, and do that on each arm. Then take the entire lower arm section or forearm section and fold those up into the shoulders. Come to the legs. Fold the legs out. turn them 90 degrees, collapse the knees. So do a Van Damme and then turn the knees in an unnatural angle, then take the entire crotch section and push it up, and then just make sure that everything is lined up so that the back of the legs will peg into the upper shoulders. So there is a peg hole here and a peg there, and snap them into place, and that's it. And then take this really painful looking transformation and put it off to the side. Finally, for Volt, head, push it into the chest. There's a little panel behind the head, flip that up and over. Take the fists and fold them up into the forearms. There's this black piece on the outside of the shoulders, flip them up and in. Rotate the arms up into the shoulders. Turn the figure around and fold the arms back and snap them together. Come down to the toes. Rotate the toes all the way around into the legs. Combine the legs together. Come to the torso and flip up the side skirts into the chest. Come down to the shins and flip these black pieces down like that. And then the entire legs will collapse at the shins. Rotate them up into place and they will snap into place at the head. And this is the only posability that the dino head has, is this little bit of mouth open and closing. Then come to underneath the chest, which is the tummy of the robot mode, and flip out this green piece. Starting off with the legs. Grab the legs and then come to the blue centerpiece that was Max, and these legs will peg in to these giant pegs that were the, well, are the shoulders of the robot mode. Then these big black connectors will peg into what were the feet of the yellow bot. And just get them lined up and snap them into place. And unfortunately, this is probably my least favorite part of the connection, is because other than those two pegs, it doesn't peg in anywhere else, unfortunately. Then take Sammy and split the arms apart a little bit, and there's a peg hole in the forearm and the fist, and those will grab onto those pegs and just get them lined up and push them into place. And there we go. And then finally, it's time to add the dino head. The dino head has two connector spots. This green piece will push into here and latch into place, and then there's this little tiny connector which will peg in up there. And believe it or not, it requires quite a bit of force. And there we go. And then we can just pose the little dino hands. And we're done! We have a giant TyraKing, or a Super TyraKing in this case. This thing is huge. Like, it's just gigantic. MP10 Prime. It's bigger than MP10. Well, it's big. It's really big. Let's put it that way. And for those wondering, MP10 Prime can kind of ride it. It's just a little bit too wide for Prime's legs. I'm not gonna lie, this thing is hard to review because it's just so big and bulky, but I do really like it. The only complaints I have are, one, I would really like it to actually peg in a little better up here. The whole rear section doesn't appear to peg in any sort of way that I've been able to find. Nothing's listed in the directions. And two, this connector for the head isn't the strongest connection. And that's a shame. But it does have an ability to open a mouth, and it can pose a little bit, so you can lift it up like this, or just push the mouth closed. It's very imposing, very big, and very cool. Now, in terms of size, when comparing to other dinosaurs, yeah, Grimlock really doesn't compare. Nor does the original Studio Series Grimlock. It is bigger. This one is bigger, but man, it's still kind of dwarfed by Super TyraKing. I'm very happy with Super TyraKing here. It is exactly what I wanted. Just a giant, beefy Tyrannosaurus Rex that's a robot that turns into other robots. It's a lot of fun. I'm really happy with it, and so is my son. My 7-year-old is just like, whoa, that is awesome! So that that alone makes the dang thing super worth it. So folks, let me know what you think of this set down in the comments, and while you're down there, check out the description to head over to SirToys.com to pick up this set for yourself. It wasn't that expensive, at least compared to a bunch of other things I've bought recently. As always, I'm going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.